Hello and welcome. This is the course on stochastic modeling and queuing theory. In this lecture, we will discuss the continuous time Markov chain. In an abbreviated manner, we will often refer it as the CTMC. Let's consider a stochastic process x of t greater than or equal to 0. Here, the state space of the stochastic process x is discrete. Typically, it may take countable or countably infinite values. We can typically it may be non-negative integer values 0, 1, 2 and so on. But the essential thing is there are discrete states in the state space of the stochastic process. If you consider the parameter or the index set, which more often is interpreted to be the time is continuous. That is, it takes values or on some continuous range on the real axis. So we have a case where the process is a discrete state continuous time stochastic process. Let's further assume that this process obeys the Markovian property. And because the state space is discrete, a Markov process with discrete state space is called as the Markov chain. It's just a naming convention. So this becomes a continuous time Markov chain. When we say continuous time Markov chain, it implies the following thing. One, the parameter or time is continuous. Markov means it obeys the Markovian property. Chain means automatically that the state space is discrete. So CTMC is an abbreviation that we use for this kind of a process. Again, without loss of generality, we take t, the parameter, to be greater than or equal to 0. Let's consider two states, of course discrete states I and j in the state space of this process. What we would like to know is that at any given time the probability that the system occupies a given state, which we may denote probability that x of t equal to I or x of t equal to j. This we would like to know for any arbitrary time. We may be given an initial condition such that probability that x of 0 equal to I for all given states I. Once we know this, can we predict the future evolutions of this process and find probability that x of t is equal to j for any arbitrary j in the state space? That is what we mean by characterizing the process or predicting the future of the process. Obviously, to do that, given the probability distribution on the state space at a given time, if you want to predict the probability distribution at a future time, then we need what are called as the conditional probabilities of this form. Probability that x at t plus capital T is equal to j, given that x of t equal to I. So at the earlier time point capital T, the probability that suppose the state occupied is I, what is the probability at a later time t plus capital T, it is j. That is, the process goes from the state I to the state j, from the time capital T to the time small t plus capital T. So obviously, if this kind of conditional properties are given for all possible pairs of I and j, and for any given value of t, capital T and small t, then the process is completely characterized. Well, this is a huge task to ask for, to be solved. So we will look at certain simplification process, or what will be rather more relevant for a real world modeling. First, if you look at the way the evolution of the probability, typical realization of a CTMC will look like, it can be depicted in the figure that is shown here. So this is just one realization of the CTMC, where the state space is discrete and we are plotting the states being occupied by the process at various time over certain interval. So we will call this as time 0. Time progresses like this, and x-axis denotes the time. Till certain time t, we trace the state visited by the process. The state space is given in the y-axis. It is discrete. Therefore, these lines represent the states that are possible. We have not marked it, but the values, probably this can be 0, and this is -1, -2, +1, +2, and so on, or it can be any values. For example, this need not be 0, it can be 2.3, this can be 3.5, 4.2. Probably these are the only values that the process can take. Or there can be, the states can be abstract. For example, there can be two states, working and non-working. And to come up with a random variable, we may denote 0 for to be associated with the working nature of the system, and 1 for the non-working or repair state of the system. And the system may only take two values, 0 and 1. Based on the value we take, we interpret the working condition of the system. So that way we construct a random variable and then the stochastic process out of it. So these are the discrete states that can be occupied. So assume that state 0 is occupied and the system can change this from one state to another state at any arbitrary time. But the state has to be one among the discrete states, so it cannot take an arbitrary value on the y-axis, y value. It has to be one among these discrete values. So, for example, at this time, it goes to the state 2. Then it remains in 2 for some time. Then it switches to 4 and remains in 4, comes back to 2, 1, and then 2, 3, 5. It goes like that. So one thing that we see is whenever the system changes, it jumps from one state to another state because their states are discrete. But the time at which it can jump is arbitrary. And we should be able to tell the state at any arbitrary time. That is why these are plotted against a time axis. The lines are like this. So this is just one realization. Another realization will be another kind of curve like this. So that gives an idea of how the CTMC can evolve. So if the look at a machine which can be in the state working, repair, or idle, then there are three states. Correspondingly, we will can be denoted as W or I, and it can move from one state to another state at an arbitrary time, and that is how the process may evolve. First thing is, how do we put some assumption into it so that the CTMC can be handled easier, and but it is at the same time realistic. First thing we can see is the process can be assumed to be time homogeneous. That is, in this conditional probability that we are trying to arrive at, the conditional probability remains same whatever may be the value capital T is. So from capital T, this time capital T to T plus T, we are interested in the probability of going from I to J. But if you assume that these probabilities are not dependent upon when we make the its time shift invariant, that is, even if you put instead of capital T some other value L, if this conditional probability does not change, then it is time homogeneous. It only depends upon the initial state I, the final state J, and the time interval small t. Then we have reduced the complexity. Then what we need to do is we have to find this conditional probability between all possible pairs of I and j, and for an arbitrary time interval small t. So drastically we have reduced it because its time shift invariant, because it is time homogeneous. And most of the processes encountered in reality are time homogeneous, so it's valid to make this assumption. So there is another way of putting it, that is, if you shift the time by an arbitrary value tau, the conditional probability does not change, keeping other things constant. That is, probability that x of t plus capital T equal to j given x of small t equal to I is the same as the given thing. That is, when we add a quantity tau to the time, okay, probability that x of t plus capital T plus small tau equal to j given that x of t plus tau equal to I. Okay, so we will consider such time homogeneous CTMC. So the only quantity that we have to consider for between two pairs of states to deriving at the conditional probability is the time interval t. We will use a shorter notation to represent this time interval, that is this. So here the only thing that is of interest is the earlier state I, the later state j, and the time interval t, and this represents a probability. So we will use this notation capital P I J T. It is to be interpreted as probability of going from state I to state j in a time interval of duration t. So we can take the beginning time to be 0 or any other value tau, and then make a jump to the time t or t plus tau respectively. We also know that it is a Markov process. What does that mean? Let us consider 3 time points t, s, u, and put this ordering that t is greater than s, which is in turn greater than u. That is, u is an earlier time, after that s occurs, and the latest time is t. If it has to obey a Markovian property, then if you want to predict x of t, given the value of at x of s and x of u, then the only relevant knowledge is about the latest time among these two times s and u, which is s. That is, x of s is the only thing that is relevant to predict x of t. X of u is not relevant given as x of s. In mathematical statement form, probability that x of t equal to j given x of s equal to k and x of u equal to I equals probability that x of t equal to j given x of s equal to k. So x of u is not relevant given the later time point x of s. So we know this also. So that is why when you are looking for these kind of probability measures, it is enough if this kind of conditional probability are enough. Okay, So between two pairs of states k and j, if you know the conditional probability for an arbitrary time t, then we will all be able to predict the probability measure at a time t. So how do we characterize it? Suppose these conditional probabilities are known, how do we characterize or predict the future? Suppose the initial time occupancy, state occupancy at the time 0 is given. That is, probability that x of 0 equal to I is given for all states I at the time 0. Then is it possible to predict probability that x of t equal to I at a future time t? Yes, it would be possible if only if we know these conditional probabilities. Probability x of t equal to j given x of 0 equal to k. Like that values if you are given, then it should be possible to predict. How? So probability of the state occupancy at a later time is what we are interested in. Suppose for the state occupancy probability we use the notation pi of 0 at the time t is equal to 0. In general, pi of t for the time t. Again, capital P here denotes the state occupancy probability, whereas here this p is again a probability, but it is a transition probabilities. So here the small I denotes the state for whose state occupancy we are interested in, and within bracket we put the time at which we want the state occupancy probability. So here it is time is 0. So pi0 denotes the probability that state I is occupied at the time 0, and if this is given for all states I, then how do we find correspondingly pi t, small t, for an arbitrary time t? So, or pjt. So pjt is probability that the state j is occupied at the time t. Again, from shorthand notation we will come back to the normal notation. Probability that x of t equal to j, that is what we call it as pjt. If you want to get it, what we can do is we can introduce a condition of the state being occupied at the time 0 and uncondition it by summing it over all possible states at the time 0. That is, in addition you introduce this condition that at the time 0 state I is occupied. But at the time 0 any state can be occupied, and we have to add the corresponding probabilities, but one state or other has to be occupied at 0. So if we add all these things, then we will retrieve as this case. So we can write it as sigma over I, probability that x of t equal to j and x of 0 equal to I. So essentially if you do this we can look at it as a joint probability by and this is the marginal probability, okay, because we have added all possible values, accounted for all possible values of I. Now this can be rewritten in terms of the conditional probability and the state occupancy probability at 0. So this is like probability of A and B can be written as A given B into B, probability of B. That is, probability of x of t equal to j given x of 0 equal to I into probability of x of 0 is equal to I. So this value is assumed to be known, given. So the probability of state occupancy at the time 0 is given. So if we know this conditional probability, then we will be able to find this for the state j and similarly for any given state at the time t. Or again, we can denote it as pj of t is equal to sigma over I pij of t into pi of 0. So here probability of occupying the state j at the time t is given by sigma over I. The transition probability from I to j in an interval t See, all these, although we use a notation of this form, the interpretation of this t is different from this one. This denotes the duration, and this ij denotes the former and the later state, and this is a transition probability. Whereas here, this I denotes the state that is being occupied, and P is the state occupancy, and this is the time point at which we are talking about the occupancy measure. Okay. So what we now understand from this is, given the initial occupancy measure of a CTMC, if you know these values, conditional state transition probabilities, we will be able to find the probability measure, occupancy measure for a future time t. So, if you want to go from time 0, progress to another time t in future and find the probability measures, you have to simply evaluate it. Okay, for all possible j's, you have to evaluate it. For some other state k means pk of t is equal to pik t into pi of 0. Like that, if you have to do sigma over I. So if you put for different states, you will be able to get it. Similarly, if you want to measure it for a different time, instead of t, if you want to measure it for another time t1, you should be able to find this conditional probability for a time interval of duration t1 or t2, t3. So t1, t2, t3 are the time durations. So we should have this quantity for every possible time duration. There are infinite possible time duration you can think of. For all of them, we should have this conditional probability, then only you should be able to progress to this one. So we will summarize what we have seen. So Pij of t is the conditional probability of going from the state I to state j in a duration t. Suppose the state occupancy measure can be put in a form of a vector. We will call it as pi vector, with a subscript denoting the time at which we talk about the state occupancy. Pi 0 is the state occupancy at the time 0. That vector is a row vector consisting of the probability of occupying state 0, state 1, state 2, and so on, assuming 0, 1, 2, 3 are the states of the CTMC. That is P00, P10, Pi0, and so on. So here the subscript 0, 1, and so on represent the state. These values within the bracket, they denote the time. If you want the state occupancy probable vector at the time t, we will denote it as pi t. That is given by P0 of t, P1 of t, and so on. So how do we put this now in a matrix vector notation using this notation for the state occupancy measure? We can write it as pi t is equal to pt into pi 0. What it means is, supposing this is this row vector, and if you multiply it by a matrix such that the matrix element or the transition probabilities. So actually this has to be in order to write this one, this has to be in column matrix form. Then so you will have elements of Pij to be P. If we start numbering the state from 0, 0, we will have P00t, P01t, 02t are the first rows, P10, 11, 12 are the second rows, and so on. And if we have this in a column, this is for representation I have written out as row vector, but actually if they are column vectors, then we can write it in this form, because P1 of t or P0 of t is nothing but this matrix times this pi 0 in column form. So the first row will be multiplied by the column to get the first element, and this is how we can represent this whole process of going from the time 0 to time t and predicting the state occupancy. Well, now what we will have is, we need this kind of a transition probability matrix. We looked at this kind of a matrix in the case of DTMC also, discrete time Markov chain, but there we had time steps. If you go from the state occupancy at one particular time step to 3 time steps ahead, you should have a 3-step transition probability matrix, which later we found that it is nothing but a third power of the 1-step transition probability matrix. Okay, so but we need this kind of multi-step transition probability matrix for a DTMC to go from one time to that many number of time steps ahead. But only now the problem is, there are no time steps, but the time is continuous. So we need this kind of a transition probability matrix for an arbitrary time interval. So we have denoted this PT. Now this denotes a matrix, but it is a function of t. Every element of this matrix is a transition probability from an row I to row j, where I and j are 2 states, arbitrary states in the state space over a time interval t. So we need one such matrix for each possible t. Okay. So if you want to find pi u at a time u, you can find it from pi 0 by multiplying it by pu, which is a state transition probability matrix evaluated for a time interval u. So there are infinite number of transition probability matrix we are talking about, one for each possible time interval. So this is too much to call for. How do we even get this kind of matrices? That is why later on we will see, we will use an approach which is similar to DTMC, where multi-step transition probabilities can be obtained as powers of one-step transition probability matrix. In a similar manner, we will now try to get a infinitesimal state transition probability matrix. If you move the time interval over a very small quantity, say epsilon, and in the limit epsilon tends to 0, what will be the transition probability matrix? That is for an infinitesimal interval, and use that repeatedly to construct the transition probability matrix for an arbitrary but finite time interval. So we just want only one matrix to be the generator matrix through which we can move forward for an arbitrary time interval. In the case of DTMC, the one-step transition probability matrix alone is enough. All multi-step transition probabilities can be obtained as a power of it. In a similar manner, we will try to get a transition probability matrix for an infinitesimal duration and then use it to get for a finite duration. We will see that later. So before that, we see that what we mean by this PT is that it is a matrix of the form Pij of t. Okay, I and j, which span the row and column, represent any given state in the state space of the CTMC. Now if you look at the properties of this Pij's, they are after all probabilities. So Pij of t has to lie between 0 and 1, and further we know that at any given time t, you have to occupy one state or other. So sigma over I Pij of t is equal to 1. That is, probability of going from state I to an arbitrary state j in a time t, okay, has to be 1 because here if you look at the for a given, sorry, this has to be over j. Starting from I, at the time t you have to be in one state or other. So if you add over all possible states to which you may go, the destination states at the time t, it has to add up to 1. So this is not right. This is tells that from all possible points, this tells that you have to come back to, you have to be in j at the time t. That is not necessarily true. Well, so if you look at Pij of t, they are all functions of t. It may look like this. Okay. So here I and j are fixed. Against the time, if you plot, these probabilities may go like this. Will lie between 0 and 1 will go like this. So similarly, P00 of t, P13 of any given thing, they are all functions of t. Okay. So the matrix itself is a time dependent. That is one thing that we found out. The another thing is, we saw that when we plot the evolution, this is how the Pij changes. If you look at the evolution of the time t of the states, here a given state, once the process comes to this state, it remains in this state for some time and then goes to another state, remains there for some time, goes to another state, and so on. So we can now look at how long a state will be occupied once the process comes into it. We will call it as the dwell time of a state. That is, process comes to 0 here, it remains for some time, which is again a random quantity, and then jumps to a state and remains in 2 for some time before moving to state 4, remains there. This is the dwell time of state 4, of state 2, and so on. So if you look at the time evolution of the state space of a CTMC, we see that process comes to a state, it takes a random amount of time and remains in that state, which we will call it as the dwell time, which is a random value. Then at the end of the dwell time, it goes to some other state. To what state it will go, it is also random. So there are two things which are random. One, how long it remains in a state, or the dwell time, which is random, and when it makes a transition, to what state it makes a transition, that is also random. So here what we talked about is, if you start with a time, see all these time, these are not dwell time, these are the time intervals. Starting from this time to this time, if the interval is t, we are talking about what is the probability that it is in state 0, it will go to state 2 in this time interval. So that is what we are talking about in this t. Dwell time is the time it remains in a state before making a transition. Well, now we will spend some time looking at this dwell time. Now we are talking about a time homogeneous process. So supposing at a time 0, the state being occupied, we will call it as x of 0. Okay. Suppose we know the probability that the state being occupied to be I. All these probabilities are known. Okay. Then the time it takes for a change of state is the dwell time which we are interested in. First we will see that, suppose at the time 0 state I is occupied, then the dwell time, okay, tau, which will denote is a tau, the probability that the dwell time tau is greater than a given quantity. That is what we would like to investigate. For that, again, we will start off with this argument. What is the probability that the dwell time is greater than a quantity s plus tau, given that state I is occupied at the time 0? So we know that state at the time 0, I is occupied. It has been in I, but the dwell time is the time in which it remains in I. We are asking about what is the probability that dwell time is greater than s plus t. So this one we can write it in the following manner. We will introduce this quantity condition, probability that dwell time is greater than s, and in turn we can write this as follows. That is probability that tau is greater than s plus tau given s of x of 0 equal to I, and along with the condition tau greater than s, and then because we have introduced this condition, we have to multiply this one. Probability that tau is greater than s given x of 0 equal to I. Okay. Now, if you look at it, this one, probability that tau is greater than s plus t, if you look at this one, what does this tell? At the time 0 it is in I, and the dwell time is greater than s, which means that at the time s also it is in I. So we can together write this as x of s equal to I. And then this one is probability that tau greater than s given x of 0 equal to I. Now, if you look at this one, if you apply the time homogeneity property, the shift in s can be removed. We can subtract both sides by s. Okay? Then this becomes x of 0, this becomes t. It can be written as probability that tau is greater than t given x of 0 equal to I into probability that tau is greater than s given x of 0 equal to I. Now, we will denote the dwell time to be a random variable, and we want to characterize the dwell time of a CTMC. We want to find the CDF, cumulative distribution function of the dwell time. So that is actually denoted as f tau of t. Okay, the random variable tau taking a value t. That is the CDF we want to find. The corresponding complementary cumulative distribution function of tau will be denoted probability that tau is greater than t. That will be represented as f tilde of t. So again, once we know the CCDF, we can find out CDF. Once we know CDF, the entire random variable can be characterized. From CDF we can get the density function and everything. So first it is easy to talk about the CCDF. That is why we are talking about it. So what is that CCDF? F tilde tau of t is equal to probability that tau is greater than t given that x of 0 equal to I. Okay. This for any given state I we can find out. Now this equation can be written as, this is nothing but the CCDF assuming the initial state is I. We are all talking about for an initial state I, which is also true for any other state. So this is nothing but the CCDF of the random variable tau evaluated at s plus t. Tau greater than s plus 2 given x of 0 equal to I. And this is again the CCDF evaluated at tau. This is the CCDF evaluated at s. So f tilde of tau at s plus t is equal to f tilde of tau as s and multiplied by f tilde of tau evaluated at t. for two arbitrary time intervals s and t greater than 0. First thing we saw is this Markovian property which we have used here. See, here we have used the Markovian property and then the time homogeneity property tells that if you look at the dwell times CCDF has to have this relationship. That is the important lesson that we have understood by going through this exercise. Well, now once we know that we are looking for a random variable whose CCDF has to obey this property, we can easily conclude the only random variable which will have this property being obeyed has to be an exponentially distributed random variable. Only for the case of only a function of the form e power of minus lambda t can satisfy this relationship for an arbitrary s and t, because you can see that e power of minus lambda into t plus s is equal to e power of minus lambda t into e power of minus lambda s. So this is f tilde. If we tell f tilde of t is e power of minus lambda t, this is f tilde of t, f tilde of s, this is f tilde of s plus t. So we deduce that the dwell time of a CTMC has to be exponentially distributed. There is no other way it can happen. This is the only way a Markovian property can be obeyed. So when we talk about a continuous time Markov chain, then the dwell time has to be exponentially distributed. Similarly, although you might not have noticed, you can easily figure out that in the case of DTMC, the time a process remains in a state before making a jump, that has to be geometrically distributed. It has to remain in the same state, that if you call it as the probability of failure, and go to a state other than that as a success, then probability that it will remain in a state for 5 time steps before making a jump is that 5 failures followed by a success. Geometrical distribution. So only this geometrical distribution in the case of discrete random variable and the exponentially distributed random variable in the case of continuously valued random variable can bring in this memoryless property. So the dwell time is exponentially distributed. This is the first important, whatever may be the CTMC, the dwell time has to be exponentially distributed. Further, we looked at the Chapman-Kolmogorov equation with regard to the DTMC. The same thing can be arrived at for the case of the continuous time Markov chain. Let us consider a transition probability between two states I and j over a time interval of duration t plus capital T. It is the probability that starting from the state I at the time epoch 0, it goes to the state j at the time epoch t plus t. Obviously, when we make a jump from I to j in a time step t plus tau, it has to occupy a state, call it as k, at the in-between state t. So, but this state k can be arbitrary. So we make use of it and write this Pij of t plus tau is equal to, which is denoted as this, that is probability that x of t plus tau equal to j given x of 0 equal to I. We introduce this condition that x of t equal to k and then uncondition it. So this conditional probability, here we introduce a condition x of t equal to k and then sum it over all k. That is sigma over k probability that x of t plus t equal to j, x of t equal to k given x of 0 equal to I. Now this is of the form A given B. What is A? Is this whole two conditions. Given B is this condition. So that can be written as AB by B. That is x of 0 equal to I, x of t equal to k, x of t plus t equal to j divided by probability that x of 0 equal to I. So this way we can write it. We can take it out of the summation also if you want, because this is independent of k, or keep it within it. Now what we will do is we will multiply and divide it by this probability. That is probability x of 0 equal to I and x of t equal to k. That is multiplied here and also divided here. Now look at this factor. That is x0 equal to I and xt equal to k divided by x of 0 equal to I. That can be written as probability that x of t equal to k given x of 0 equal to I. Like we can write it as a conditional probability. Similarly, here we have three things which are being ANDed, three conditions being ANDed together. Here we have two. So again we can write it as a conditional probability. Probability that latest one, x of t plus t equal to j, given x of 0 equal to I, x of t equal to k. Like that you can write it. Now if you look at this, now we can invoke the Markovian property. That is, you are given the probability occupancy at the time 0 and the later time t, and you are asked to predict at a much later time t plus t. So obviously the latest time among the knowledge that is given to you, only the latest time, that is t, matters. This can be dropped. So probability that x of t plus t equal to j given x of t equal to k can be written. This we don't touch anything. So from this can be written like this. This follows from the memoryless property of the CTMC. Now for this, okay, x of t equal to x of 0. Okay, now we can again, if you look at this one, t plus capital T equal to j, x of t equal to k is there. But now we can invoke the time homogeneous property and shift by a quantity minus t to bring this to 0 and to bring this to capital T. So this is probability that x of capital T equal to j given x of 0 equal to k, and this is retained as it is. Now what do we have? We have two conditional probabilities. This is probability that we are going from I to j in a time interval of t. Sorry, I to k in a time duration of t, which is written as pik of t. Here k to j in a time duration of capital T. So this way we can write it and sum it over k. Let's just check. Okay, so what we have arrived at is going from I to j in a time duration of t plus t capital T can be written as going from I to an in-between state k in a time interval t, followed from k to j in the remaining time capital T, and summing it over all in intermediate state k. This is the Chapman-Kolmogorov equation, and this is the version of the Chapman-Kolmogorov equation for a continuous time, which is obeyed by all CTMC. So with this properties and initial characterization of CTMC, we will stop. Later we will see how we can define a rate matrix for CTMC and then use that to predict the future time characterization of the CTMC from a given characterization at a given time. Thank you.